Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday morning. It's super great to be here, and I'm just sitting in this really cool little camp kitchen at the bottom of Bel Air National Park, which is down at Adelaide. So my girls and I have been camping for the last week, and it is raining today, so it's been a little bit wet on and off, but overall we've had an amazing time. And I really honestly, hey Twan, hey Jason, great to have you guys on here. And say hi if you're on here, because I don't always see who's jumping up on the on the left hand side when I'm chatting away. So great to be here, and we've really had just the most incredible week together, and I've got some work done, and the girls have had some good times doing some things, and I've got an amazing surprise for them on Saturday, so I can't wait to share that with them and you guys as well. So it will be really great. A bit cold for camping, yes it is, but it's actually been a lot warmer down in Adelaide, and we're near the beach as well, so it's we've not had the frost. At home it was like -5 when we left, so it's actually been warmer, and we are kind of glamping it as well. I'll just turn this around so you guys can see. It's kind of like this is the camp kitchen which I'm hiding out in. This by far has definitely been this one that I've been to, so it's been really great. But it's just beautiful being out in the national park and being able to explore and just be out in nature as well. I think it's so important to get back to nature and have it teach us amazing things as well. So this morning, really wanting to jump in around the ups and downs of our emotions, and how resisting our emotions, how when we get frustrated at our emotions. No, it's definitely not camping, Tuan. Hey Pam, great to have you on here, sweetie. So how resisting our emotions really actually prolongs the emotion, and how falling in love with our emotions and actually listening to them as opposed to shutting them down, pushing them down, and just pushing them away, really resisting and resenting them perhaps, can really make a difference to being able to not only accept them and feel great, but also move through them a lot better as well. And I love the love heart. Thank you, honey. So I would love to have a conversation with you guys about that. If you guys have any questions at all about your emotions, or how potentially that affects you each day, if there's ups and downs and different things. In my experience, the more that I actually lean into a particular emotion and actually fully experience it, it's like this inner smile kind of comes over me, and I can feel the resistance dropping away. Whereas when perhaps if I'm feeling a bit stressed or feeling a bit pushed, then that definitely impacts, and the more that I resist that and try and keep going and push through, the more resistance it tends to build. And by the end of the day, I can feel in my body and in my shoulders and everything else as well, just the amount of tension that's actually being held in my body from trying to suppress and push down those particular emotions as well. And I know definitely when we're going through particular hard times in our life, hey Linda, great to have you on here, it can be quite challenging in terms of wanting to resist those emotions, because we can feel that those emotions are constantly arising. So whether it's feelings of fear and uncertainty with deep change that's going on in our life, perhaps we've had big upheaval, and so there could be feelings of grief or loss, or lots of other different emotions as well, anger, resentment, all of those things. The more that we're pushing against those, and sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, but the more that hey Di, great to have you here, the more that we're feeling that we're feeling those emotions again and again and again, we can really feel like we want to resist those emotions and continue to push them away and just ignore them and just get on with life. And what I've actually found in that experience is that it just seriously, it suppresses it, it pushes it down, but it makes it bubble away, and we actually experience more and more and more and more of that particular emotion until we almost feel like a Coke can that's been shaken and has the lid on, and it only takes one little tiny thing before we like totally explode as well. So I don't know if you guys have had that feeling before, but I certainly have, where it's just like we become so overly sensitive to everything that's going on around us, and the stress just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks until we just can't deal with it anymore. And then at that point, it's like then we make a major change, and it could be, you know, we completely withdraw from everyone, we completely shut down, or we just say, oh, I've got to get away from it all. And whilst that's, you know, really helpful to definitely do at times, we want to be conscious around the energy that we're actually doing that, because it's when we can consciously choose from a place of flow and alignment in feeling like, yeah, that's just something that it feels really aligned, it feels really great, and that's a great way of nurturing me and taking care of me. That's a really different energy that we're making that choice from, as opposed to the fight flight response. Oh my God, my life is just a mess, I've just got to escape it, I've got to get away, where we're actually running from the very thing that if we potentially leaned into it and actually felt that, it could actually have some really, really great information for us. And when I say that, it's kind of like, no, well, my emotions are just annoying things that come up and stop me from doing what I need to do each day. And it really, you know, our emotions are here to guide us. They're letting us know constantly what is our survival mind thinking with the thoughts. Where are my thoughts going each day? Because if we're not feeling good, it means that our thoughts are being directed in a way that's actually not going to serve us. We tend to be either in a downward spiral or an upward spiral. So each emotion or each feeling has a beautiful message in terms of, it could be, if we're feeling anger and feeling resentment, it could be that we have a belief or a thought that we need to be everything for everyone, and we need to be constantly doing things for everyone. And so our inner self is going, hang on a second, this is not right, this is not what we need to be doing, this is not the truth. But when we push down or we resist that emotion, we don't allow ourselves to feel it, or worse still, we make it wrong, then we just spin on the spot even more. We push harder. We feel angry and resentful at ourselves because we think, you know, I'm a caring, kind person. Why do I feel angry at others? And of course, I'm speaking from personal experience as well, because I think that this is true for a lot of people, definitely a lot of clients that I've spoken with, that they can feel this way over a period of time too, simply because they're actually not tuning in and saying, what is it that I need each day? If I'm feeling deep sadness, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to listen to? Or perhaps, you know, what belief do I need to challenge at this moment? Because all of our beliefs are shifting and changing our perspective of the world constantly. So if we have a belief that life is hard and life is a battle, then of course we're going to be experiencing a lot of those emotions, that life is a struggle. We're going to feel the struggle, we're going to feel the effort, we're going to feel how hard it is. And so when we acknowledge those emotions of, wow, I'm really struggling, I like that time that he escapes into the national park and sits amongst the trees by himself. Totally, I love that. And like I said, having the foresight or the acknowledgement to actually sit in your emotions and acknowledge, why is this coming up for me first of all? Why am I feeling this way? And what am I actually feeling it about? Because we have all sorts of different emotional set points about different subjects. So we might feel really, really great in our relationship and have lots of positive emotions and flow around our relationships, but we might feel, say, particularly challenged in the area of money. And so we might feel worry and concern and disappointment or discouragement or overwhelmment with where we're at with money. So we all have different emotions around different subjects as well. So when we're tuning into that particular emotion, it's important to ask ourselves as well, what what am I actually feeling this about? And what are my limiting beliefs preventing me from what I want to have instead? We don't really tend to need to dig too much in that. It's more asking yourself the question, well, what do I want instead? And being able to focus your thoughts in a new positive direction, even if it's just a small little jump on the emotional scale. So quite often I speak about the emotional scale as to whether it's we're right down the bottom in grief, despair, powerlessness, and those really low energy emotions. Hey Helen, great to have you on here. Or whether we're coming back up into anger, perhaps resentment, perhaps doubt and worry and frustration and impatience, and then getting into boredom and into those higher emotions like curiosity, contentment, hopefulness, optimism, positive expectation, and then empowerment, love, and gratitude. So depending on where we're actually at within those emotions, we just want to be, well, what do I want instead? I'm looking forward to moving closer to what I want. So it might be I'm looking forward to feeling easier about money. It could be I'm looking forward to feeling better in my relationships. And as we do that, our emotions are actually guiding us and letting us know what it is that we want to be experiencing, and that we're actually heading in the right direction with our thoughts and with our thinking and with our beliefs. So we want to be checking in and making sure that we have positive, supportive beliefs. And if you're anything like me, you've probably picked up a few beliefs along the way from 0 to 7. We are such little sponges as children, and if we have little children as well, it's really helpful to be mindful of that in terms of what messages are we actually sending our kids. And this is true, of course, with teenage girls and with teenage boys. I've had a lot of people actually reach out and ask me about a program for teenage boys as well as the program for teenage girls. So I think this is true for all young people. What is the message that we're actually sending them, and helping them to understand that their emotions aren't wrong, their feelings aren't wrong. They're letting them know that something's off, something needs to be looked at, something needs to be sat with to really understand and choose a different thought, choose a different belief. If we're not feeling that we're enough, if we're not valuing ourselves, of course we're not going to feel great within ourselves either. So again, it's just a little reminder to tap back in more into our heart center and to really acknowledge, from our heart, if we could see ourselves from the highest perspective possible. And I talk about God. I still have some funny things about using the word God. I'm not religious in any word, in any sense, but whether that's spirit or whether that's soul or whether that's just pure love, whatever that is for you. Thanks, honey. Pam's just saying that she loves it. Reminder accepted. I love that. And a lot of this too is reminding myself as well. So, at all times we have a choice to go to that highest perspective, whether it's God or whether it's our soul or our spirit, or just coming from that place of how would true love look at this. True love is totally unconditional. It is absolute freedom, and it comes from the place that we're never making mistakes. It's only our survival mind that actually judges us and makes us wrong and makes us feel like, well, we've made a mistake, or we're a failure, or we're this or we're that. It's the mind, when we're so in our head, it makes it so hard to actually hear the truest voice of our soul. And that's what I love about our emotions, because they're constantly guiding us back to our soul. We're meant to feel amazing. We are meant to feel incredible. And if we're not, something's off. And sometimes that can be that, we're fighting the reality of life, the way that life is showing up. And I have the strongest belief, and this has definitely been heavily anchored in and through Tony Robbins and quite a few of my other mentors as well, who I love and adore, because they're always helping me. Hey Trine, great to have you on here, hon. Helping me down that path of life. And it's, life is happening for us, not to us. And when we allow ourselves to sit with the emotion or to sit with the experience, regardless of how challenging this is, and I've certainly done this in lots of my situations, but the biggest one was when my mum passed, and being able to find what is the gift or what is the blessing in this? And I know that sounds like really strong words in saying that, and I certainly couldn't do it immediately. It took me a good couple of years to get to that place. However, when I was able to sit in the emotion and feel the emotion wash over me, it was like it literally dissipated so fast, whereas I'd been resistant to actually feeling the grief, feeling like I was dropping into this hole that I would never, ever, ever come out from. And what I learned was that the more that I actually sat with the emotion, the quicker it actually cleared. And I would literally have a moment where I would walk into a room and I'd be like, oh, I feel really heavy on my heart, I feel really heavy on my chest, I feel a sense of grief, I feel a sense of loss, and I would literally lay down, cry hysterically for like a good couple of minutes, and in that moment, just seriously, like I'd be like, okay, it's gone now. It has literally gone because it's moved through and I've let go of it and released it, as opposed to go, no, I can't cry, I'm busy, I haven't got time for this, blah, blah, blah. And I've done exactly the same thing with intense anger at times as well, where I've just sat with it, allowed myself to feel as angry as what I possibly could, and dropped through that to then experience and ask myself a more resourceful question. Okay, what do I want instead now? And what do I need to, what's the aligned action to take? And Tuan's just saying, yeah, boys are told to suck it up and to be a man and to bear it. So they grow up not knowing how to and being able to express themselves. And I think that that's really, really valid and true. And even, judgment that society can still have. And, I can put both hands up there and say I've certainly been guilty of that at times. More and more I'm trying to hold that space around that absolute allowance of regardless of who it is, allowing them to be in that vulnerability and that space, and knowing that it's actually coming from a place of strength and courage, and it allows somebody to shift through their stuff so much faster when we're just being with them. We don't have to do anything, we don't have to fix it, we don't have to change it, we don't have to make them feel better. Just the acknowledgement, people feel so connected and feel so, resonate and related to, so we don't feel separate and alone. And I think that's one of our greatest functions of human relationships, is when we allow that space for somebody else to be in that. It's very, very healing for ourselves as well, because I think the greatest judgment that we have is on ourselves. So if we're judging others for being in a particular emotion, then that can be really, really tricky too. Hey, Imelda, great to have you on here. And I think the more that we allow others just to be where they are, that is that true unconditional love. It is that holding the space for somebody and being able to see the highest perspective for that person as well at the same time. And I think this is the greatest gift of prayer, or the greatest gift of whether we call it prayer or holding a great space for somebody, knowing that whilst they're in their stuff and they're experiencing those strong emotions, it's actually not who they are. It's like a child's behavior. If they're doing something naughty, they're not a naughty child. The behavior is just, they're trying to get their needs met. They just don't know a way of actually getting those needs met. Hey Shane, great to have you on here. And so again, it's just the same with people. If people are stuck in a particular habitual emotion, they're trying to get certain needs met through a certain emotional pattern, and they don't know a different way about actually getting that, or they're not yet ready to see that experience from the highest perspective, from their heart and their soul. Perhaps they're stuck in their head, they're judging themselves, or they're feeling judged by others. And when we hold that beautiful space for others then as well, which comes from being more accepting of our own emotions and not judgmental about our own emotions, and just being able to sit with them through that, it's so empowering. Every person has their own answers, and it's being able to come back to your truest heart center and really feel into that. And that's obviously resonating as well. Hey Mandy, great to have you on here. And when we allow ourselves to like I said, sit with somebody through that, or even sit within that, within ourselves, our emotions really do serve us, because they're constantly guiding us with our thoughts and which way that we're thinking and what is it that we want to be attracting, knowing that we're huge big magnets at all times with the thoughts that we're thinking and with the perspective that we're looking at things. So like I said before, if we have the belief life is a struggle, life is hard, of course we're going to be attracting more and more of those experiences. And so our emotions are constantly letting us know, hey, something's off, something's not quite right here. How can I now look at this experience and find the gift in it, find the blessing, find the learning, find whatever it is that I need from this lesson, when we have the belief that life is happening for us and not to us. And all of our emotions are nothing more than guidance in letting us know, just like a little bumpy road, or the bumps on the side of the road on the highway, if they weren't there, we'd just drive completely blissfully off the road. We'd be so far off track and we'd have no awareness. So our emotions are just like those little bumpy bits on the side of the road, helping us to come back on track. Or even, if we want to use the analogy of a car, if we're not seeing the signs, if the lights are on the dash on the car, something's wrong, something's going on. If the temperature gauge is getting hotter and hotter and hotter and we're not paying attention to that, something's going to boil over, something's going to explode, or smoke's going to come out from somewhere. Absolutely, and I totally agree with you, Tuan, that, don't ask for an easy life, ask for the strength to get through it, because we're growing and evolving constantly through all of our experiences. So when we're tuned in and we're listening to our emotions instead of making them wrong, pushing them down, suppressing them, just feeling like they're annoying things that we need to get rid of, then that makes a huge difference, because we're listening to the signs. We're not allowing our engines to boil over and break down, where then suddenly we're off track or we're on the side of the road for hours and hours and hours, wasting time, because either we were off track with our thinking, off track with our beliefs, or we're just not focused in a resourceful way as well. So I hope that's been helpful for you guys. I feel like I've been a little bit ranty this morning, but I would love, if anybody else has got any questions or any thoughts or ideas around anything, more than happy to jump in and share anything else with you guys. Hey Ali, great to have you on here. And I'm also super excited as well to launch my Power of Gratitude program. I launched that in the Daily Gratitude group. So if you're not in the group yet, I highly recommend jumping in. Lots of beautiful daily inspiration in there, with lots of people sharing what they're grateful for. And that can definitely help to remind ourselves about what we can be grateful for as well. Gratitude is one of the most resourceful emotions that we have. And the power that comes with gratitude is unbelievable. I know when I'm fully tuned in and tapped into the feeling of gratitude, my life just flows like nothing I've ever seen. Things come to me easier and easier, and I had the beautiful experience. Some of you may have seen my post on this yesterday. I was out walking on the beach with my girls and just feeling really grateful for the moment and feeling totally in flow. And I look down, there's not a soul on the beach apart from myself and my girls, and here's 3 $2 coins just laying in the sand. And I just thought, gosh, it's just such a beautiful reminder that the universe is here for us. We are creating our experiences constantly, and we're constantly guided by our emotions. And if we're not feeling great, jump into the Daily Gratitude group. I will definitely post the link for the Power of Gratitude course. It's got some really, really amazing things in it. I've also got a super cool, sorry, I'm just distracted by Tuan's comment as well. Yes, I'll definitely have a look at that. I'm in consultations with somebody around that at the moment, so we'll see what happens in that space around the teenage boys program as well too, Tuan. So but definitely, if the Power of Gratitude at all resonates, jump into the link, have a look. I've also got an amazing birthday special as well. Next Sunday I actually turn 40, so I'm actually running this amazing special where you can pretty much get 3 courses for the price of 1, and I'm really excited to share all of this information with you guys. I feel so blessed. It did take me until I'm 32, which is why I'm obviously wanting to get the Teenage Girls program out much earlier, so girls have the information, from 13 onwards, where they're not struggling a lot, or they're struggling less between those years. I think they are challenging years, but there's a lot of growth that's happening within those years as well, so it is a blessing. And I think when the girls can really understand how to shift out of their survival mind, get back into their heart, and know that they're not their body image, that they're not their thoughts, they're not who their friends think that they are, and all of those things, and come back and find their truer center. And I think that this is something that we continue to do as adults as well. That, hey Dallas, great to have you on here, that the more that we can help these girls to really understand that, it's going to make a huge difference. And the power of gratitude will definitely be touching on a lot of these concepts and helping you absolutely dive into feeling better and better and attracting more and more and more of what you want every single day as well. So have an amazing Friday, and I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Bye for now.